Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Tom Dark channel. I am your host, Tom Dark, and today we will be talking about Meowba, one of the most controversial online personalities of the last year or so. Someone who I initially thought was just funny, but may actually be evil. Let's get into it. So who is Meowba? Meowba is a YouTuber, sort of, TikToker, and she was sort of an edgy parody of a PNG tuber named Jellybean, and she would make videos that were like sort of kawaii, sort of dessous, okay? Her videos had a little twist to them, which would be that she was edgy.
Reading Meow's Discord questions, part 2. What is Meow's height? Meow is 43 feet tall. On a scale of 2 to 9, what is your opinion on the Russian invasion on Ukraine? Meow personally believes Russia had a reason for it. Russia did what it needed to do. Could you beat Ella in a fight? Of course, Meow.
Not the most creative thing in the world, a little obnoxious, but I thought Meowba was funny. I thought it was cool that she was like being edgy. As someone who misses the edgy period of YouTube, I thought it was cool that someone was bringing that back. I thought it was cool that someone was bringing edgy humor to the current sort of YouTube landscape. But no one really knew who Meowba was. There were a bunch of commentary videos coming out at the time shitting on Meowba and being like, oh, she's cringy. And it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, there is definitely a level of cringe. This guy Pointless made like 50 fucking videos about Meowba, generic commentary video shitting on her. This video has 800,000 views, just being in a Discord call with her. August the Duck has a video with 1.4 mil saying, I found someone worse than Jellybean. I mean, she was like Jellybean too. People milk Jellybean dry. They milk that topic as much as they possibly could. And then Meowba was sort of the follow-up story. It was like, she was the same thing, but she was racist. People could call her out for being racist. So I was like, you know what? Meowba's kind of an interesting topic. I want to do something a little more different. So, first of all, I ended up playing Minecraft with Meowba for a little bit. Here's one clip from it.
Keep you safe, okay? Your dad is a psychopath. No, please don't tempt me. No, please tempt me.
Oh, thank God, it's over. Now the world is rid of this cancer known as Meowba. So, I had some fun playing with her, okay? She was definitely weird and edgy, but I thought it was cool because I like edgelords. And I ended up making a follow-up video sort of about that, about Jellybean and the whole phenomenon that did pretty well on my channel. Got like 700,000 views, 800,000 views. I made this pretty decently long video talking about Jellybean and talking about like why that led to Meowba's fame. Around the same time that the hate for Jellybean was at an all-time high, a new content creator known as Meowba entered the scene. She first started posting content in March of 2022, and despite only having an online presence for a little over a month, she's garnered over 1.4 million followers, with her being embroiled in even more controversy than any of her counterparts. While originally posting extremely standard TikToks drawing fan art for Dream and Jellybean, she made her debut as a full-on PNG tuber soon after, with a high-pitched childlike voice and anime girl appearance.
Hi there, Meowchan. Welcome to Meow's PNG tuber introduction. Meow's
The voice is pretty obnoxious looking back. People to kill themselves, like call them retarded, and use racial slurs to insult various members. But you know what? I was like, whatever, she's edgy, she's probably fine. Meowba has kind of faded out of the zeitgeist of YouTube recently, and she had a bunch of fucking drama unfold about her on YouTube. There was drama where she was supposedly doxxed. I think some of those were fake, but there was like a real dox eventually. But there was a bunch of drama with Meowba. Apparently Meowba got exposed. You see a Jaden video here with Meowba with blood on her face. The one I want to talk about is this video, or this sort of area of the internet, maybe not this video in specific, but this topic. So I've been sent a bunch of stuff for a while of Meowba supposedly running some weird Discord cult where she was like getting teenagers to cut themselves. I know that's quite the departure from what I was just talking about. Apparently she like was a fucking nut job or something. It kind of reminds me of Maximilian Muss in retrospect, where she just kind of, it seems like, enjoyed the suffering of others and wanted to like make other people be in pain for her own amusement. I don't know. It turned out that she was like an evil like nut job, and I'd had people tweeting at me about it. I had people sending me screenshots of it. And for the time being, I just ignored it because it was like schizo shit. I didn't really know what to make of it. And I didn't want to be the one to like break the story or whatever. But apparently it was like really bad. So we're going to check out this video about it called Meowba's Cutting Cult. Obviously, you know, you can see there's a bit of a disclaimer here. So if this kind of stuff makes you squeamish, self-harm, whatever, trigger warning, okay? Putting the trigger warning here.
Obviously, when you make content which mainly involves Minecraft, you're going to have an audience of mainly weak-minded children, which this would not be an issue if Meowba was responsible with her platform. But unfortunately, she is not.
That's kind of a trigger phrase for me when I hear people being like, they were irresponsible with their platform. They were platforming bad behavior, and they weren't they weren't telling their audience to do the right thing, okay? I don't know. I find that cringe. I find the word influencer cringe because I don't think that most YouTubers deserve that level of responsibility. I think they should just be like treated as normal people who you probably shouldn't follow the advice of or follow the behavior of. But as you can see from the next line, it's pretty dark.
Of minor exploitation, such as the distribution of CP being allowed and the encouragement of minors cutting her name into their arms to get a special role.
You can see it's blurred right there, but you can see the name Meowba carved with a fucking knife into some chick's arm.
And not only is she aware of these practices, she also encouraged it.
And we go here, we see a message of her saying, self-harm is lols. I don't really know what to say about that. Reminds me a lot of Maximilian Muss, who you guys probably remember was exposed a while ago. And I don't think Meowba or Maximilian Muss are pedophiles. I remember that was a talking point that a lot of people said. I don't think Max is a pedophile. I just think he thinks really fucked up shit is funny. And one of those is probably just like, you know, gross misconduct happening in his Discord server. In this case, what Meowba found funny and based and pilled was like people cutting themselves. And later on, I believe she says something to the effect of, I didn't make them cut themselves, but I don't necessarily have a problem with it. They did what they wanted to do. Okay, fair enough. They had their own free will. They decided to do that of their own volition. But also, like, if you see people doing that shit in your name, it's literally your Discord server. You should probably at least ban them and be like, don't do that shit. I don't know, try to call the police on them, be like, go to their fucking house if they're cutting themselves in your name. If that happened to me, that's what I would do. I wouldn't, or I would ignore it. If someone tweeted that shit at me, I would ignore it as to not fuel the fire. What is wrong with you?
Now, I'm not going to go into much detail on Meowba's quote-unquote content because these vultures have already picked the carcass clean at this point, so I'll spare you guys the redundancy of watching
the vulture visual. Very creative, Chef Bojack.
And quite frankly, I don't really think her being Islamophobic or saying the word retard compares to anything I will mention from this point on.
Holy shit.
So,
thank you. These days, a lot of people seem to be like, he's edgy and he's a rapist. It's like, dude, separate the two a little bit. Come on.
Meowba's Discord server, she has a subset of fans that act like her own little cult. She can even get grown men to get down on their hands and knees and lick milk out of a bowl for her. And due to the control
that's not that
she has over her fans, she realized she can just manipulate them into doing ridiculous things.
This whole manipulation thing I don't buy as much because at the end of the day, they are still people with their own free will. But the fact that she's even like taking pleasure and enjoying it is, I don't know, it's not good.
It's something I do to my fans because it's funny. But in her case, it's slightly different because she rewards them by giving them a special role for engraving her username into their arm.
Like, what the fuck? Why?
Meowism is a religion made up by Meowba to mock the great religion of Judaism and its followers. But in all seriousness, Meowba made her religion because she's agnostic and to poke fun at the Abrahamic religions. Which obviously isn't an issue in itself. But when you look deeper into this quote-unquote...
Is there like lore to the Meowba religion? I don't know all of this. I don't really know all the Meowba lore. I thought the religion thing was just a meme.
So first we'll look at the religious commandments on her website, which are basically just the commandments for being a Chef Bojack fan. But anyways, the commandments are pretty funny because she's a serial soft drink drinker who also draws lolly porn for her Patreon. But
the lolly porn definitely is one of the off-putting things as well. I know on YouTube, some people, perhaps the Rev says Dessous of this world, are in favor of the lolly shit. A lot of the anime people are in favor of the lolly stuff. They think it's cool, but I personally, going way back, I have a history of being a lolly hater. I'm not a fan of the lolly content. I think it's not cool. I think it's pretty creepy, weird shit. It's disappointing to see that Meowba was dipping her toe in this stuff.
Now, I'm not 100% certain how the cutting thing originated, but according to my sources, it originally started off as a one-off joke in a VC, where one of her mods suggested that a Meowist extremist would cut Meowba into their arm. And as we now know, people would actually be dumb enough to do it, including 6 confirmed minors.
Whoa. According to this person, 6 underage people, at the very least, cut the name Meowba into their arm for a Discord role. I mean, this server just sounds like the worst, like, hybrid R9K pit of degeneracy full of complete fucking cancer. I mean, this just sounds like fucking terrible. What is going on?
As of now, Meowba has released a public apology about the incident a couple days ago on her server, and she even updated her server's rules to state that she has a no-tolerance policy for self-harm, as it should be. But the issue is, when you have past comments stating that self-harm is just for the lols XD, maybe these measures don't seem very sincere or genuine.
And I think the problem that you run into when you criticize people like Meowba or Maximilian Muss is people are like, they need to be held accountable. Don't you feel bad for what you did? But the obvious answer is no. Any apology they make is not even an attempt to actually convince anyone that they're being genuine. That's why when Meowba was like accused of being racist, she was like, no, I'm not racist. and then started making fun of Muslims or whatever, right? Because she likes to play into that kind of stuff, and that's fine on that level. But when you get to this kind of thing, it's like, it's just totally indefensible.
So again, looking at the rules here in her Discord, we find another unfortunate contradiction in her word, where she prohibits cheese pizza. Again, as it should be. The issue is, not only has she participated in drawing it for Patreon in the past, she has also let at least one 15-year-old girl sell and distribute her nudes to different adult members on the server.
Notice that she was allowing, well, I guess there's no direct proof for this one is a thing. I wish there was sort of more to go by. The problem with investigating quote-unquote people like Meowba and doing these internet investigations is that stuff like this is not totally, you know, beyond the realm of possibility. Like, it could be the case, but we just don't know because there's no direct evidence of it. And obviously, even if there was direct evidence, the only evidence you'd be able to get would be literal fucking child porn. It's kind of hard to do an investigation in that way. According to this person, at least, they say, notice she was allowing a 15-year-old to send nudes to adults in the server in DMs and wanted her gone because it was allowing the distribution of CP within her server. She refused because she was friends with that girl. So I guess the allegation here is that Meowba was like friends with some chick and let her just like hang out in the server.
And even defended her right to do so while not banning her. This leads me to believe that for the most part, the adults who follow Meowba are closeted predators, because why else would a grown man like listening to someone who sounds like a child and acts like a child who says and does sexually charged things, unless they watch Dumpy.
Wait, was that a picture of me? Wait.
Unless
that's me. Why the fuck am I here? What the hell did I do? Why am I in this video? I did nothing wrong. I guess the thing I did wrong was I played Minecraft with her, but I couldn't have known, okay? I'm innocent, guys, I swear. At the time, I couldn't have known what she was up to. I didn't know what she was doing. I mean, I basically just thought that she was like a degenerate fucking troll and not like a fucking evil person. Not some kind of like complete internet schizo. I thought she was like funny tier, like leafy tier. I didn't think she was like Shadman tier, which apparently, you know, drawing lolly and like doing all this weird shit on Discord, apparently she was.
And sure, she can make the argument, oh, you know, it's not a child, right? But you look at the fucking drawing, it's clearly a child.
True.
The drawing, it's depicting a child.
Base Chef Bojack, thank you.
There's no other way it's not a child, and the character she plays is a child. So yes, it is an explicit drawing of a child, and because of where she lives in Australia, she's also committing a federal crime by creating and distributing it.
Is she Australian? I actually didn't know that. I don't know all the Meowba docs lore, but
He seems to believe Meowba doesn't really understand the gravity of the situation she got herself into due to how naive she is. But that's not really an excuse, considering she did nothing to correct the behavior.
I don't know who is saying that Meowba is naive. There's definitely no naivete involved. I think she's just like a degenerate, cynical, doomer nihilist who has like no morals. Some e-girls just want to watch the world burn, Mr. Wayne. And Meowba is definitely one of them.
Confronted on it by other people. And now, because of her laziness and lack of action, she could be facing potential legal punishment from the Queensland police due to vigilante groups reporting her for child exploitation, the possession of Club Penguin, and they also reported her for apparently being a Nazi
going to jail now, white boy.
Made.
So, in retrospect, listen, when I did the Let's Play with Meowba, a lot of people criticized me. A lot of people shit on me for what I did, okay? Not only for playing with her, and not only did they shit on me for playing with her, but they shit on me for destroying her. But frankly, looking back, eradicating the plague on the earth known as Meowba, the disease known as Meowba, was the morally correct action. There was simply no path other than the one I took. I had to get rid of her. I had to do it. Her popularity has kind of died. I was in her old Discord server, and then when she started doing a bunch of weird shit, I blocked her on Discord and on Twitter. She called me like Dada. She was like, Dada. So I blocked her. That's the end of that story. That's the end of the Meowba chapter, ladies and gentlemen. I guess there's not really anything else I would add to her little story there.